Hello guys, my name is Ile at makesimpledesigns.com, and today I'm going to show you how to create a 3D text in Photoshop without using any additional plugin or a 3D software. We're going to use a technique of stacking layers on top of each other, and in order to achieve this result as you see it on your screen, you need to know couple of basic stuff, and these are like creating a new document. You need to know how to create a layer. You need to know a little bit about layer styles, and you need to know about blending modes. So these are the basic requirements in order to achieve a result like this. And just don't waste time and let's get started. So first thing we do is we create a new document. You go to File, New, or you press Control N, and I'm gonna create something not usual as a document size. I'm gonna use 34.4 centimeters and height 14 by 4 centimeters. I've set the resolution at 300 pixels per inch. Color mode is RGB because it's mainly for the computer, it's not for print. And then we're gonna press OK. So first thing we do is we create a new layer, and in order to create a new layer you press Ctrl+Shift+N, and there you have it. And we're gonna name this layer background. We're gonna pick something like this kind of a close to this kind of a grayish, and press Alt-Delete to fill the background with the foreground color. And then again Ctrl+Shift+N to create a new layer, and this is going to be with this layer I'm gonna call it dark mask, and I'm trying with this layer we're gonna create a little bit of a shadow in the lower left and right corners of our canvas, of our document. And in order to achieve that is we're gonna pick black and Alt-Delete to fill the background. And then we're gonna create, with this button in here, we're gonna create a mask on that layer, and we're gonna pick the gradient, choose the preset from black to transparent, and then somewhere in the middle, like 17.2 centimeters, we're gonna create the middle, and following that line we're gonna create a gradient, and that's technically gonna like erase parts of the black. So we're gonna just duplicate it, or you can press Ctrl- to zoom out and even make the effect a little bit bigger. And then press Ctrl+ to zoom in a little bit more. But it's too dark, so I'm gonna lower the opacity, something to, I don't know, 60 or maybe 65. And Ctrl+Shift+N, and now we're gonna create some highlights. So it's gonna be highlight. We're gonna pick some white, and then add a gradient, and this is too dark, too strong, sorry about that, it's too light, so I'm gonna set it up like to 30%. And another one, highlight top, just add a little bit of a color, something like this, and lower it to 75 just to give it kind of a yellowish tint, but this is too strong. I'm gonna lower it to 20 and highlight top to maybe 50, and that's pretty much done. So how are we going to create the 3D text? Well, simple. We're gonna use the technique of stacking layers on top of each other, and this is how I do it. Press the T key, type some text, energy. I'm using ballpark font and I'm setting it to 170 points. Set it somewhere in the middle. Okay, that's pretty much good. And change the color to something for now like gray, like 86, 86, 86. And the text is not visible so much for now, but we'll fix that later. So I'm gonna show you just fast how we're gonna achieve that, and then we're gonna turn a couple of layers off so we can continue working. So this is what we do. We duplicate the existing layer and we move it a little bit on the top and set it something like kind of like this color, something lighter. And it doesn't matter how much pixels you move it, it depends on you. It's relatively just, we're not gonna be strict about how many pixels are you going to move it up, just as your eye is seeing it, something like this. So what we're going to do is create a couple of layer styles that are going to affect the layers and create some highlights on the bottom layer in here, in here, in here, where I'm showing you right now, and couple of layer styles on top of the layer in order to achieve that. So we're gonna firstly, turn off the top layer and use energy. Let's rename it to base so we will know what we're talking about. And click on this button here to activate the layer style and choose gradient overlay. And set up something like 146 or something like that, and start adding some select the black color and start adding a little bit of black, and then select the white and just use it in between. Okay, 165. Okay, I think this is pretty much good. The idea of setting the gradient overlay is to set the angle close of the tilting of the text. So for example, if you're using it on another text that is not tilted like this, you'll probably change the angle to 0 degrees or something like that, or depending on the how much it's tilted. But in this case, like, this is pretty much good. So we have to start changing a couple of the stuff. Align, let's just check it out how this is going to affect. Reverse. Okay. So as we said, highlighting here, darken here. And this is just by choice. I'm not trying to give you specific, just random specific values, because if I do that, you won't be able to use these values for another text. So you need to understand that we're gonna have highlight coming from the top and a secondary light source coming from this side, and this secondary light source is gonna highlight and hit the text in these areas, in here like we've shown before. And we need to set up like to have light areas in here and dark in here. Okay, that's pretty much good. White a little bit more, just as it starts affecting here. And then we pick the black color and we set it up in here. Again, white a little bit more. Okay, and then black again, and that's probably it. So this is what we're having. As I said before, we're imagining that we have two light sources, one from the top, one from the left corner. The left corner is going to be slower in light. Sorry about the term. It's going to be lower. It's in intensity, and it's going to hit the text, the 3D text, in this area, in here, in here, in here, and somewhere probably in here. And just don't panic. You're probably seeing this area lit like white. Don't panic. This area is going to be covered with the top layer, so we're not just spending too much time to just to cover it, because it's going to be covered anyway. But we are going to pick a drop shadow, set it up to be 90 degrees, because the light source comes from the top, from here, and it goes down. So normally the shadow is going to be on the bottom, and we're going to set something like let's see, this is too much, a little bit. Okay, this is probably good. You set the angle to 90 degrees, distance to 6 pixels, and size to 46, and click OK. And then you make another duplicate and click on the layer styles, on drop shadow, and this time you're going to lower it to something like 8 or maybe 6. Everything stays the same except for the size. It goes to 6 pixels, and this is the only reason why we do this is we are making the shadow that it's closer to the text a little bit stronger, so it pops a little bit more. And then we turn the top layer, and right away you can see some results. Highlight, dark area, highlight, dark area. Of course, the layer style cannot be perfect. Its strength, it's really fast, and it gives tremendously good results. But you have to be aware that there are some areas like in here, this area also, areas like inside of the text that need to have a little bit of a shadow. So we're gonna fix that later. But let me move the text a little bit down this way. I think it looks better. On the energy, sorry about that. Energy, let's rename it top. We're going to add a gradient overlay. Set a white color somewhere at the middle. 52 location is pretty good, and dark somewhere, but it's not gonna be like black. It's gonna be grayish, something like 70 70 70, red, green, blue, all 70 values, and click OK. And then just bring it closer to the white, and then we are going to have something like 197 for RGB, something like this. And we're going to just, I don't know, maybe a little bit, make it a little bit lighter, like 46 46 46. This is pretty good. but the location is gonna move to location 30. It's so maybe a little bit darker. 45, 45, 45. Okay, I think it's pretty good. Maybe just make it. And in here we're gonna add some grayish, and we're gonna remove the white. I'm sorry. Something like this. And then click OK. You can set it to multiply to see how it looks. Multiply is not bad. It's pretty much okay. Let me just okay, multiply. And no, I'm not convinced. I'm sorry about that. Let's bring it back to normal, but just remove to the opacity to 90 degrees. And now we go to the inner shadow. We are going to set the distance to be 0 and the size to be something like this. 32 is pretty good. And you know, this is gonna give the text having like roundish effect, something like this area from here to here is going to be something like rounded. It gives that kind of effect. And for the stroke, I'm going to add a gradient, set the design the angle to be, let me just check. Let's first add it. Random times just place black, and then random times place white. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 black values. It's absolute black, and then we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 white values, and click OK. And then we're setting, you know, angle is pretty good, and then we're gonna set the blending mode to overlay. Let me just check on screen. I think screen is pretty good, and then we click OK. And this is what we're having. So how can we intensify this 3D text? Well, first of all, let's fix a couple of the problems. We're having areas that need to be darker instead of light. This area in here is not going to be picked up by the light in here, and not from the light in here. So area like from here to here, somewhere from here to here needs to be black. Black, you know, areas like in here black, areas in here black, you know, in here also, here, here, here. So in order to do that, we're going to create a new layer between energy top and energy base copy. As we said before, Control Shift N, and create shadow energy base. All you have to do now is go over the thumbnail of energy base copy and Control and left mouse click, and this is going to load the selection of the bottom layer. So all you have to do now is pick black color, pick the brush tool, clicking in here or pressing B on your keyboard, picking something like a softer brush, some with hardness 0, make a little bit the brush bigger, and set the opacity to be something like low, like 19%. And then areas in here, just paint it with your mouse. You don't have, I mean, I have a vacuum tablet in here with me, but I'm using the mouse. Just use the mouse, couple of clicks, and since we are having a selection, is not gonna pop out outside of the areas that we don't want, and areas like at the E areas like in here, also areas like in the G couple of times. Just, you know, just you are the judge. You're going to realize when enough is enough. Okay, not bad. And a little bit in here. Okay, so Control D to deselect. So not now what were we having? You know, areas. Oh, let me show. Here is another area that needs to be fixed. Control left click on the energy base copy to load the selection, and in here again. Okay, Control D to deselect, and we're having fixed area like shadowing here, in here, in the E inside, G inside, also in this area, so it looks a little bit better. I mean, you have to understand that this technique is really fast and allows you to create really good designs in minutes. But there are some downsides, as we are seeing it. It cannot be perfect. There are areas that needs to be fixed, so that's something that you can do a little bit later. And what I usually do is set a texture on top of it. So you can go and find any kind of texture that you like. You can put, but since this is more like a metallic text, it's gonna be good to be any kind of a metallic texture, brushed, scratched, or just experiment. So this is what I'm going to do, just to show you how a little bit of adding texture can improve the design in a whole. This, okay. So this is what you're having. Remember to add it on the top, and Control and left mouse click over the energy top thumbnail to load the selection, and layer mask, reveal. Oh, I'm sorry, I made something wrong. Let me check. Image, layer, and layer mask, reveal selection. Sorry, I'm sorry about the mistake. So you go, as we said, layer mask, and you need to go to reveal selection, not reveal all. I made a mistake. But I want the bottom areas also to be affected by the texture. So what I usually do is Control and left mouse click over the thumbnail of energy base copy, and this is going to load the bottom selection. So you go up, select the mask, and with the white color set as a foreground, press Alt Delete, and this is going to fill the mask. So you're having the whole area of the text just covered with the texture, and areas that we don't need is masked. And now all you have to do is just start experimenting, starting from multiply to color burn, and just go over on the other blending modes. But I will stay at the overlay because I'm pretty satisfied with the result, but it's too strong, it's too intense, so I'm gonna move down something to, let's go to 50. No, it's too desaturated. Let's go to 75. Okay, this is pretty good. And that's all for now. Thank you for watching. I do hope you liked the tutorial. If you do, just write, comment, or share it with your friend. If you don't, write a critique of what part you don't like, so in the future, whenever I have time, I can create something new and better. But I will try to make more tutorials in the future, although my time is really limited. I have a lot of work to do. So that's all. I mean, just comment, share it, or give me a hint what you liked or don't liked. Okay guys, my name is Ile once again for makesimpledesigns.com, and see you later.